Now, is the Iran conflict dividing the GOP just ahead of the midterms? Is that what's happening? Now, according to a poll from CBS News and YouGov, 70% of Republicans approve of the U.S. military action in Iran, and 92% of MAGA Republicans approve. Now, Democrats, of course, disapprove overwhelmingly. Now, here are those numbers. Now, according to CNN, the Iran conflict is dividing CPAC just ahead of the midterms. And this is a distinction I want to make, okay, which CNN did not. The data regarding GOP voters as a whole presents a stark contrast to the isolationist faction at CPAC, which is led by Steve Bannon, who's aligned with the online isolationist influencers led by Tucker Carlson, who was just kicked out of MAGA by President Trump, not coincidentally. Now, Trump isn't attending CPAC this year. What does that mean? Now, as I stated, the isolationists at CPAC don't reflect the will of GOP voters regarding Iran. Now, we saw those numbers in the poll, and so it's no surprise that President Trump is skipping CPAC this year. So, isolationists like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, the online isolationist influencers, they're just making a lot of noise, okay? It's wrong for CNN to amplify their voices by alleging they're causing problems at CPAC. Now, it's in CNN's interest to try to divide and conquer, as they're doing. Just like the online isolationist influencers are acting in their interest by trying to divide the GOP ahead of the midterms. Now, those online influencers who were kicked out of MAGA hate Trump, okay? Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, because who do they serve ultimately? Okay, they serve Iran. Now, we know that. They want the regime to succeed and to continue to control oil prices and continue to have a hold on the world's economy. They want that because that brings them more clicks. Now let's watch this CPAC attendee. Keeping in mind, he's echoing the online isolationist influencers who were kicked out of MAGA and don't reflect the vast majority of GOP voters. Let's watch.
I think they would get destroyed in the midterms. I get the vibe. A lot of people I knew who just voted for Trump because they thought it was cool in like high school, or just now just being like, I can't stand the guy.
Okay, so this young individual, Alexander Selby, said he thinks the GOP will be destroyed in the midterms. Okay, so the party in power almost always loses ground in the midterms. It's called the midterm curse. But this young person is pitching the wrong lesson from it, which would be that the GOP is being punished by voters somehow. Now, according to this young individual, the war shouldn't be a priority for Trump as many Americans struggle economically. Now, according to the CNN article, he's 18 years old and a political science student at the University of Pittsburgh. Now, are they teaching a Marxist curriculum there? Sounds like it. It's the oppressor and oppressed ideology, which is designed to bring down America, to destroy the optimism of young people. Now, why do universities do that? Well, they depend on funding. They accept dark money coming from abroad that seeks to destroy America by infiltrating the minds of young people. Now, this next meme was posted in response to the CPAC attendee. Okay, so this poster says, and I quote, "Trump didn't immediately fulfill my every wish in just over 1 effing year, so now I'm going to vote the communists back into power. Oh, boo-hoo. S happens. Things change. Grow the hell up." Yes, I'm thankful that she said it. And lots of folks on X agree with her. For example, this poster says, "Because this is so much better." Absolutely. Now, do we remember this federal government employee, Sam Brinton, a nuclear scientist? Now, that is very impressive. But Brinton's main claim to fame is he's the first openly gender-fluid person in federal government leadership. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition in the Office of Nuclear Energy. Impressive. Now, he held that position for 6 months in 2022 under Biden, but he was fired after being charged with luggage theft on 3 separate occasions. I don't know, maybe it was Gucci? Brinton also reported a bad experience with gender conversion therapy as a youngster. Now, he said he was bound to a table and shocked with ice heat and electricity while being forced to watch movie clips of LGBTQ folks having relations. Now, later, a journalist and gay activist, Sam Besson, questioned the veracity of the story because Brinton didn't remember the therapist's name despite being treated for 2 years, allegedly. Now, why did I discuss all that? My point is, Brinton probably opposes the conflict in Iran. Just speculating here. Now, this CNN article is all about division regarding the Iran conflict at CPAC, not among GOP voters in general. For example, okay, now the CNN article concludes with this group of exiled Iranians in attendance at CPAC. They're chanting for regime change and they support President Trump. The guy in the black t-shirt, for example, his t-shirt says, "Persians for Trump." Now that's great. Iranians are Persians. That's their ethnicity. Now we remember Queen Esther from the Bible. She became the Queen of Persia. And the oppressed people of Iran support Trump and support Bibi. Now, it would be great if NATO would lend support. Now, the UK is sending warships to the Strait of Hormuz coalition. Now, President Trump is vocal that the UK should be in the region, and for that, we look to history. The UK's navy is why Britain became an empire. And it's not because of Shakespeare. It's because of the British Navy, and who wouldn't want the British Navy on our side? Now, there really needs to be an international coalition in the region, and my message to CNN is do better, okay? Try to do better. You're discussing divisions at CPAC without identifying the online influence campaign that supports Iran, not America. And the influence campaign hasn't made a dent with voters. It's not been shown to be influential at all in the political arena because politics isn't just about clicks. So, CNN, you have to do better. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.